In the year 2026, I don't think it's a strange phenomenon to go outside and see everybody looking down, twiddling their thumbs. It's just the times, I guess. The old folks used to talk about how people used to go outside and enjoy the fresh air. You know, when you go to events, you actually talk to people, you interacted with people. How, if you wanted to meet a girl, you would go to a public place, a mall, something like that. You would actually approach her. Now, I'm at a weird age because half of my childhood, phones wasn't really a big thing. And then like the latter end of my childhood, like towards my high school times, that's around the time where cell phones were kind of like a normal thing where like everybody had them, everybody was using them. I would feel it would be very, very disingenuous for me to get on this YouTube channel and say, "Oh, life was so much better without a phone," because I was shitting my pants most of that time. So really, how would I know? And yeah, nostalgia was a thing too. Also, I didn't have any bills. I didn't have to go to work. Really, my biggest problem was how to beat whatever level of whatever game I was playing. So yeah, of course, I'm gonna say life was pretty good back then. But you know, even though I don't really have much life experience without my cell phone, I still do recognize the problems that come from it. So I remember when I was younger and I got my first phone, I think I was about 12, 13, and it wasn't nothing crazy. Nothing crazy was really out back then. I think maybe the iPhone 3 came out maybe when I was in the seventh grade or the eighth grade. I'm not sure. But I had like a little track phone, you know, the ones you get from Walmart, where if you wanted to type W, you had to hit nine like three times to get the W. Yeah, that's what I was on. I had minutes on my phone as well. So, you know, I had a phone, but really the only thing that phone was useful for was making a call and a quick text. You wasn't sitting up there texting back and forth all day. You won't even really calling all day because a lot of times, you know, the other kids probably didn't have a phone. And, you know, my mom used to tell me something like, "You too young for a phone. What you need a phone for?" And, you know, of course, as a young man, a young boy, nigga who ain't know nothing, that shit used to piss me off. And I never really understood what she meant. And I don't even think she really understood because what we're experiencing now with the phones is a new phenomenon. You know, it's the Black Plague for the first time. Not saying that it's gonna kill people. I mean, it probably has killed people, but I'm just saying this is something we never seen before. So we really don't have a game plan for it. We're kind of developing it now. The next generations will probably be better prepared and more mentally healthy with their phone than we are right now. But, you know, the phone, I'm not gonna sit here and just bash it. The iPhone, the cell phone, whatever you got, the smartphone is a beautiful invention. It's just a tool. It's like a weapon, a gun. You know, it really just depends on who's wielding it. If a mass pew pew goes down, you know, then of course it's a weapon of mass destruction. It's the devil's butt plug or whatever. But if, you know, the gun helps even the odds of an elderly woman getting her home invaded, it's a beautiful weapon. It's God's gift to earth. You know, it's all about perspective. And honestly, if I'm being honest with y'all, I believe my mental faculties have declined extremely steeply. Man, that didn't make sense. My mental faculties have definitely declined since I've started owning a phone or since I started carrying a phone with me 24/7. And what I mean was in elementary school, and I guess it's elementary school. But no, that don't really make sense because I didn't know this stuff. I was still learning this stuff. I was basically a straight A student. No, I wasn't a straight A. I was an A B student. I'm the type of nigga that would have got five A's and one B. Like I never got straight A's, but you know, five A's, one B, three A's, two B's, three A's, three B's, however you want to slice that cake. You know, I was an honor roll student, put it to you like that. And I found it very easy to focus on schoolwork. I found schoolwork very easy, you know. But when I got to about the sixth grade, seventh grade, you know, around the time I got my phone, boy, life changed for me. And, you know, I can't blame my mom for this because she probably didn't know what this technology was capable of, what I end up getting myself into. And she tried to keep it away from me for the longest possible time. And I was egging her like, man, I want a phone. Everybody else got a phone. I really wanted to text the hoes, which I didn't have no hoes at the time. But I thought getting the phone would get me some hoes, you know? So I can't really blame my mom for that. She didn't know. She probably didn't have a cell phone until she was a grown ass woman, maybe 25. So, you know, once I got my cell phone, I noticed, and I didn't tie this to my cell phone, but I just noticed around the sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, my grades started dropping. It was harder for me to focus in class. It was harder for me to do homework. My drive and desire to do schoolwork, to be successful with my academia. Am I just throwing big ass words around? Man, my drive, everything, my focus for school just dropped. And I don't want to say it was completely because of the phone, but I noticed that in myself that like my focus just ain't there. It's hard to pay attention. I'm daydreaming. And little known to me, what the phone does to your attention span, to your energy, to your focus, it nukes it. And to be honest with you, I was really when I got a laptop. Look, this is what happened. In sixth grade, I got a laptop. So I think that's really where it started. Like I said, sixth grade, and the phone just put the nail in the coffin. So in sixth grade, when I got a laptop, it's man, when I tell you I was on this website, YouTube, you feel me? When I say I was religious with it, nigga, I was on YouTube 24/7, looking up Drake songs, parodies, just the world was my oyster. Then we get to seventh grade. I found a game called, NBA 2K. I don't know if y'all know about it. You feel me? I found that game and I was looking at Chris Smooth commentaries for like 12 hours out of the day. So, my dopamine was going crazy, with all this technology. And then you add a phone to it. Now you got Facebook. Oh my gosh, Facebook. I'm about to get off on a side tangent, but I mean, that's what I came here for, right? Facebook, the social media aspect of the phone, physically it's messing with your eyes, the blue light is messing with your sleep. So physically is tearing you down, but mentally and emotionally, man, I would say probably about my my junior year of high school. To be honest, really high school altogether, I just felt very frustrated, angry, sad, upset, and I didn't know why. Me being 28 now and looking back probably had a lot to do with how much I was on my phone and on social media, looking at other people's lives and comparing it to mine and just feeling like I wasn't doing enough, which I feel like that's a big problem with a lot of people now, even grown ass adults now. The cell phone just sometimes I feel like it just makes life, just kind of like it makes outside or real life or other people like props to somebody else's television show. Everybody is the main character. What I mean is, for my gentlemen out there, and ladies, when you hear this, please don't feel no type of way. I'm just giving you my perspective and how I feel and how I think. One thing I've experienced in my life is like, you go somewhere or you do something and you're with a girl and she just want to record and take pictures of everything. And it's like, if you don't want to do that with her, it's almost like, well, damn nigga, do you like me? Because I don't want to, take pictures and record everything. I want to enjoy where I'm at. I don't get out the house much. So probably wherever we at is blowing my fucking mind. I'm on cloud nine right now. Oh, excuse me, allergy. I'm on cloud nine right now, and you mad at me because I don't want to drop down on one knee, get the angles right, pick the perfect filter and shit. Which they don't be doing all that. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's like you kind of killing my mood. You blowing my high because now we got to stop and make a fucking scene of everything, and then you got to go show everybody. But I understand that urge, because if you ever posted a pic, and I was going through this shit in high school, when I first got Instagram, the followers, the attention you get with the likes, the comments, your DMs blowing up, that feels great, but it's artificial. But it's very addicting too. But it's crack. I don't think it's as bad as crack. To post a flick, you know what I'm saying? You got on a nice fit, haircut, you know what I'm saying? And you see the hoes putting the heart eyes, the hearts, the little hand emoji that's doing the heart, your DMs blowing up, shorty like, oh, you so fly, you this, that, blase, blah. Yeah, man, that shit felt good. Then you post another one and that shit flop. You be like, damn, am I ugly? You start to overthink things. You start to, get in your head, get self-conscious. And I feel like that plays a big role into a lot of the depression and stuff we got going on. But I'm really just yapping. My grandparents used to tell me, Y'all always on that damn phone, or if we couldn't find something, you know how black people, you know how black parents are, man. They just pull some shit out their ass. They be like, I'd be like, man, my grandma, I can't find no toilet tissue. She be like, cause you on that damn phone. If you put the damn phone down, you find some toilet tissue. I'm like, man, what one thing got to do with the other? I think she was just, venting her frustration. She didn't understand what was going on. And to be honest with you, even though we was experiencing it, we didn't understand what was going on. In hindsight, grandma had a point, man. That damn phone it's toxic, but it can be helpful. It's like medicine, you can overdose on it. And I feel like we've been overdosing as a society for a long time, man. Another thing I dislike about these phones is how the higher ups, the man, as they used to say back in the day, man, these people are top class manipulators. The people who run like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. I wouldn't say they play with your emotions, but they take your emotions and they play on them to get you to buy a product or to buy into a belief, which then in turn gets them money so they can buy Ferraris and shit. Yeah, I believe with this phone, they're, tracking, like, I mean, you see it all the time. You download a new app or you re-download an app, are we allowed to track your data? No. They still gonna do it. Yeah, they tracking our data, advertising to us, man. I can't tell you how many times I'd have bought some shit I didn't need because it looks so good on TikTok Shop or the Instagram ads. I make music, so of course they tracking me when I go on YouTube, look up music tutorials, or like I'm trying to do a review on a plugin or some effects or something. And I get on Facebook trying to be thirsty. I ain't even get on Facebook with the intent of spending money. I'm not Facebook, but Instagram. I didn't even get on Instagram with the intent of spending money. I was, trying to find. But yeah, halfway through my late night doom stroll of thirst, I see a nice little plugin, and I'm like, man, shit, that do what? I ain't gonna lie, man. Sometimes that plugin be looking more interesting than the cheeks I'm looking for. You feel me? So I end up buying it. I bought a couple plugins. I got hella plugins on my computer right now, just off of the strength I seen it on Facebook, or it was a sale, and the sale looked too good to be true the whole time. That's just a regular price. I feel like relationships in general are ruined by the phone. I feel like we got too much access to each other. So it's like with texting, right? If somebody doesn't text you back for a certain amount of time, and I'm guilty of this, you feel some type of way, like genuinely, you feel some type of way. But man, you don't know what that person could be doing. Just because they take 5 hours to text you back, don't necessarily mean she getting her cheeks clapped or getting tossed in the air like a pizza and shit. That don't necessarily mean that, but that's what you're gonna think because it's like, all right, you got something that you can get in contact with me at all times, no problems. Now for 5 hours, you just disappear. That don't necessarily mean she getting the cheeks clapped, but that's the first thing I'm gonna think about. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm scarred. Something's wrong with me. I need help. I understand that, but I feel like if the iMessage wasn't like a thing, man, this shit wouldn't be a thing in my mind. You feel me? But like I said before, the phone isn't inherently evil. It is a tool. Ultimately, it's a tool, and it all depends on how you use it. That's what you'll get out of it. I just think we need to be more mindful, more aware, and just more intentional about how we use this, how we use the phone and apps that's up there. And also we need to be more aware of what it's doing to us. And also, man, get outside, man. Touch grass, learn to talk to people. I fall victim to that. I'm not the greatest conversationalist or the most charismatic guy out there. With that being said, if you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you, man. And I ain't really got much else to say. So we can call that a video. I'm out.